But I want to keep our attention right now on the war in Ukraine. We're going to head back to the ground where Wake Up America weekend host Carl Higbie is standing by for us. Carl.
Hey, guys, thanks. So actually, I want to bring in retired General Blaine Holt for this. General, do we have you there?
You've got me right here. Good to see you, Carl.
All right, perfect. So good to see you, too. I'm, 5,000 miles away from where I normally am. But, I want to bring this more broadly. This is a global conflict now. We've seen gas prices rise, not all Putin's fault, but some of it is. And we've seen food crises across a number of areas that have attributed to shortage for everything from Africa to China to now coming towards America. Food prices have risen dramatically. Now, just a minute ago, we spoke to a guy that we're going to air a little bit later who is a former director of the train operations in the area here in Odessa. He said that they can't export all the grain they need to by train for a number of reasons. So the Italians have asked the global community to, if they can demine the Black Sea right off the coast here, about 3 blocks to my left. What are you hearing about the Italians and how they are responding to putting resources here to take these mines out of the ports?
Well, it's good to see you. I knew you'd find your way over there eventually, but what I'll tell you about the logistics of it is the Italians are trying to lead the way from a maritime aspect to get international support generated to not just demine, but to create a humanitarian corridor to get the food out of there. And the food, from whether it's the supply of grains or it's fertilizer supply, the restriction of this is going to create an incredibly huge crisis in Africa and the Middle East that we're already starting to see come together. You can see the Russians are already going down there ahead of this to talk about why the grain's not getting there. But what we need to do now is we need to look at all road access, even besides rail. We need to get tens of thousands of trucks to get in there and get that grain out of there. It's essential right now.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, too, is we actually spent the night in the previously Russian-occupied zone at a safe house with some former German special forces who are in here teaching the front lines medical supplies. And one of the things we were talking to them about is the $100 billion or 100 billion euro bill that they just passed to strengthen their military. Are we looking at any of those resources coming over to Ukraine?
Well, the Germans actually are probably the slowest of the allies to get their act together in terms of getting actual material and equipment. Their chancellor has made a lot of pronouncements about support and military and lethal aid coming to bear, and different systems coming, but it's just not flowing very fast. And so what we really hope that the Germans will do is, when they see the carnage that's going on and the food crisis that's imminent, that they'll redouble their efforts to get some of their armor and their radar systems and their air defense systems in as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah. Well, General, as far as you can see, too, we're in Odessa. We were 100 kilometers southeast of here a few hours ago, and it was bombed out, consistent shelling. You could hear it all around you. Almost nobody on the streets. So the migration problem is still an issue. What are you hearing about at least the recent meeting of the two prime ministers and President Zelensky about opening up the Polish border to make it easier to drive back and forth as well as travel via rail?
Yeah, I think that's actually in the works and happening right now between Poland and Ukraine. There's going to be a lot greater cooperation there. Where we really need to see intense cooperation is the international community coming around Poland. These refugee centers it's no walk in the park. Some of these refugee centers have up to 50,000 people to be managed in one central location at a time. And there's really not good things happening there. So more cooperation internationally, but I'm very happy to see that President Zelensky is working to ease the flow both into Ukraine and out of Ukraine on the Polish border. That actually helps a lot.
Yeah. Well, General, we appreciate you being here. I will be back on the couch next week. Unfortunately, I'll actually have to put makeup on that time. But I am enjoying my time out here. General Blaine Holt, we appreciate it. Yeah.
Have a great day. Stay safe.
You too.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.